It's pretty wild to think that one of the simplest things we do every single day could hold the secret to one of our biggest health challenges, keeping our brains sharp and young. Well, today, we're diving into some amazing science that connects the simple act of moving our legs to the actual health of our brain cells.
So let's just start with that big question, right? Because the answer, it turns out, is way more direct and powerful than you might think. We're going to follow the clues from a huge global health problem all the way down to these tiny little messengers that could literally change everything.
Okay, first, let's get a handle on the situation. The reality is, we're all living longer, which is great, but it also means we're facing a massive, growing challenge with neurodegenerative diseases. These are conditions that can chip away at our memory, our ability to think, really our sense of who we are. And this problem is getting bigger, fast. To put it in perspective, just look at this number. Right now, 24 million people around the world are affected by Alzheimer's alone. That's just a huge, staggering figure. But believe it or not, that's just where the story starts. Because by the year 2050, that number is expected to quadruple, 4 times bigger. This isn't some far-off issue, it's a real, urgent health crisis that's unfolding right now. So what on earth is going on inside the brain? Well, a big part of the problem is something called neuroinflammation. The best way to think about neuroinflammation is to imagine a fire alarm in your brain. Now, a fire alarm is a good thing, right? It goes off when there's a threat, and then it shuts off when the danger is gone. But with chronic neuroinflammation, that alarm gets stuck. It's just blaring 24/7, creating this constant state of emergency that wears down and damages your brain cells.
Okay, so that's the problem. But what if the solution isn't some futuristic drug? What if it's already inside of us? What if the very parts of our body we think of for brute strength are actually one of the most sophisticated communication tools for our brain?
Now, this might sound a little weird, but it's a total game changer. We all think of our muscles as things that just, lift and pull. But scientists have discovered they're also secretory organs. That means when you use them, when they contract, they're actually producing and releasing these incredibly powerful messenger molecules into your body. And this creates this amazing two-way communication superhighway called the muscle-brain axis. It's not a one-way street. Your brain sends a signal telling your muscles to move, sure, but then your muscles talk back, sending these chemical messages right back up to the brain that can protect it, help it grow, and, get this, help turn down that faulty fire alarm. So if our muscles are talking to our brain, what exactly are they saying? Well, let's zoom in on one of the most important secret messengers in this whole conversation. Everybody meet irisin. Irisin is a special protein that gets released by your muscles when you exercise. And researchers have nicknamed it the hope molecule, and for good reason. It has this incredible ability to travel up to the brain and directly fight that chronic inflammation we were just talking about. So how does it all work? Well, it's a really beautiful, simple process. It starts when you exercise, and we'll get to just how simple that can be in a second. Your muscles release irisin. That irisin travels through your bloodstream, makes its way to your brain, and basically tells that inflammation to just calm down. The end result? Your brain's health improves, and your neurons get the support they need to survive and thrive.
Now, this all sounds fantastic, but I know what you're thinking. What kind of crazy workout do I have to do to get this hope molecule working? Do I need to start training for a marathon? Well, this is the best part of the whole story. The answer? It's just so simple.
It turns out something as basic as how fast you walk is a huge indicator of your overall health. It's almost like a report card for how you're aging, and the research is pretty clear. A slower walking speed, especially in midlife, is directly linked to an older, less healthy brain. And if you want to see this in action, check out this study. Researchers took a group of adults and for 1 year had one group just walk for 40 minutes 3 times a week. The other group, they only did some basic stretching. The results are, well, they're just mind-blowing. The walking group actually grew their hippocampus. That's the memory center of the brain by 2%. That's like reversing 1 to 2 years of brain aging. And the stretching group? Theirs kept shrinking, just like you'd expect with age. So the takeaway here is just so clear and so powerful. A simple walk isn't just exercise. It's an act of rebuilding and rewiring your brain. You're literally making it stronger and more resilient with every step. It's neuroplasticity in action, and it's powered by your own 2 feet.
All right, let's bring this all home. This is the part that I think is the most motivating because we're going to translate all this amazing science into real, practical numbers you can actually use, like today.
Because that's the real question, isn't it? What's the magic number?
How much do I actually have to do to see a real benefit? Well, we have the data, and honestly, it's so much more encouraging than you might think. Let's start with a number that is surprisingly low, especially for those who are at high risk of cognitive decline: 3,000.
That's it. 3,000 steps per day. We're not talking about a marathon here. We're just talking about consistent daily movement. And achieving that was linked to an average of 3 years of delayed cognitive decline. Just think about that. 3 extra years of brain health. That is an incredible return on investment.
But what happens if you can do a little bit more? Let's bump up the target to our next number: 7,500 steps.
For people who hit around 7,500 steps a day, the benefit more than doubled. They saw on average a delay in cognitive decline of 7 years. I mean, wow, that is a direct, measurable, and massive impact on the health of your brain.
And really, this is the bottom line. It's not about being perfect. It's not all or nothing. The science is so beautifully clear on this. Every single step you take is a positive message you are sending from your legs directly to your brain.
So as we wrap this up, I really want to leave you with this one thought. Your brain isn't just floating around in your skull. It's in a constant, active conversation with your entire body. So the only question left is, what are you going to tell it today? What's the message you're going to send?